The story began in the land of Egypt, where the Israelites lived as slaves under the merciless rule of Pharaoh. For generations, they toiled under the searing sun, building Pharaoh's cities with backs bent under the weight of their suffering. Their cries reached the heavens, and Yahweh, remembering his promise to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, decided it was time for deliverance. So Yahweh chose a man, Moses, raised in Pharaoh's palace but Hebrew by birth, who had fled Egypt after a violent incident. Yahweh appeared to Moses from within a blazing bush on Mount Sinai, the flames dancing but the bush itself not burning. A voice, powerful and divine, called out, "Moses, I am Yahweh. I have seen the misery of my people in Egypt, and I have come to deliver them." Moses, though reluctant, accepted the mission. With his brother Aaron, he returned to Egypt to confront Pharaoh and demand freedom for his people. They entered Pharaoh's palace, a grand, imposing structure filled with incense and guarded by soldiers. There Moses delivered Yahweh's command, "Let my people go, so they may worship me in the wilderness." Pharaoh laughed, unimpressed. "Who is Yahweh that I should obey him?" he sneered, refusing to let the people go. Then Yahweh began to unleash plagues upon Egypt, each more terrible than the last. First, the waters of the Nile turned to blood, staining Egypt's life-giving river a dark crimson. Fish died and the stench filled the land. But Pharaoh hardened his heart, and the suffering continued. Frogs swarmed from every river and pond, filling homes and covering the land. Then came gnats, tiny and relentless, biting man and beast. Yet Pharaoh would not relent. The plagues grew worse, flies swarmed, diseased livestock perished, boils broke out on people's skin, fiery hailstones rained down from the sky, locusts devoured crops, and darkness covered the land for 3 days, thick as a shroud. Each time, Pharaoh promised to let the people go, but he went back on his word, his heart hardened by pride and arrogance. Finally, Yahweh sent the 10th and most terrible plague. Moses warned Pharaoh that the firstborn of every Egyptian family would die, from the wealthiest to the humblest, and even the firstborn of their livestock would perish. Yahweh instructed the Israelites to mark their doorposts with the blood of a lamb, a sign for the angel of death to pass over their homes. That night, a great cry rose throughout Egypt as every Egyptian household mourned. Pharaoh, shattered by the loss of his own son, finally relented and ordered Moses to take his people and leave. As dawn broke, the Israelites gathered their belongings, laden with gifts from the Egyptians who were eager to see them gone. They set out into the wilderness, leaving behind the land of their captivity and stepping into the unknown with hearts pounding with hope and fear. But as they journeyed, Pharaoh's grief turned to fury, and he regretted letting the Israelites go. "What have we done, letting our slaves escape?" he bellowed, rallying his chariots and soldiers. The Egyptian army, a terrifying force of chariots and horsemen, pursued the Israelites, determined to bring them back. Soon, Moses and the people reached the edge of the Red Sea. Behind them, the pounding hooves and war cries of Pharaoh's army grew closer, filling the Israelites with terror. With the sea before them and the army closing in, the people turned to Moses, crying out in fear, "Were there no graves in Egypt that you brought us here to die?" But Moses stood firm. "Do not be afraid," he declared, his voice steady. "Stand still and see the salvation Yahweh will bring you today." Raising his staff over the water, he called upon Yahweh, and suddenly a mighty wind began to blow, parting the waters of the sea. Before their eyes, a path opened through the waters with towering walls on either side. The people stared in astonishment, their fear transforming into awe. Moses led the way, and the Israelites stepped onto the seabed, walking through the watery canyon in awe and trepidation. Children clutched their parents' hands, their eyes wide as they passed through the surreal corridor. They moved quickly, glancing back to see the Egyptians still in pursuit, the sounds of chariots echoing louder. As the last Israelite stepped onto the far shore, Moses raised his staff one final time. With a roar, the walls of water collapsed, crashing down upon the Egyptian army. The chariots were swept away, horses and soldiers lost in the powerful rushing water. The sea returned to its place, calm and unbroken, leaving no trace of the Egyptian forces. The Israelites watched in stunned silence, realizing the magnitude of their deliverance. The sounds of Pharaoh's army were gone, replaced by the gentle lapping of waves. Then a cheer went up, a cry of victory, of joy, and of newfound freedom. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe, share, like, and comment. Thank you, and see you soon.